Hi, everyone. Welcome to usually Tuesday training, but it is Wednesday. I am so excited to be here and talk to you all about how to be confident as fuck. Yeah, I know. I'm unleashed. I just got back from vacation. I am feeling myself, feeling good, and so excited. I've been like hustling all day too, so I'm very high energy tonight. But I was traveling yesterday, so we pushed the live to today, and I have so much to say about how to be confident, why it's so important, and I want to give you a couple of like the tools that I use for those days where you're feeling maybe a little less than confident, but you still have to be confident as a business owner, right? I'm sure you all know what I mean. If you're watching live, say hi. If you're catching the replay, let me know with hashtag replay. I love jumping on and talking about these trainings. What I'd also love to know is on a scale from 1, which is like not at all confident, to 10, like Beyonce level confidence. Like I'm talking the most confidence you have ever seen. Where would you rank yourself in terms of public speaking, particularly? So, how confident are you with public speaking? Today, I'm feeling like a 10. Like I said, I've been hustling all day. Just got back from vacation where I was with my best friend Tara, catch Throat Chakra Thursday from last week, see me and Tara, but she is such a boss. I'm going to cuss a lot today, boss bitch, and reminds me of how awesome we are and how awesome I am. And so that's going to be part of what we're talking about today is how to show up with this confidence. And so a couple things you should know about me. First, I have 4 older brothers. So I never knew the girl code and that like girls were supposed to be like less confident than guys. And I bring this up because it's really influenced a lot of my worldview, a lot of how I show up and present myself. And I have a lot of like very masculine communication tendencies because of how I was raised, right? I love the feminine. I have a very high pitched voice that also helps me when it comes to the feminine approach to speaking. And I love being like the yin and yang and balancing the approach because so often as women and as girls, we've been taught to shrink ourselves, to make ourselves smaller, as Beyonce would say. And, guys, we've got like man spreading, right? If you're ever in a subway train after, I guess subways are open in COVID or airports, another great place to see it. Guys take up a lot of space, right? They're spread out across a whole bunch of seats on the plane or on the subway. And girls are like sitting there making themselves smaller in their chair. And they're like, oh, yeah, of course you can sit by me, right? And so, me, and I think I was also the student government president at Arizona State University, represented 15,000 people. You best bet that when I walked in to negotiate something with like the university president or one of the VPs, I took up as much space as possible, right? And that's just one small example of how you portray confidence. And I see this all the time on lives, right? Where you get on live and you keep the camera so close to your face. It's like right there in their face, trying to like shrink yourself or make it seem like, okay, like I have to take up space, but I don't want to take up all the space. And so that's why today I purposefully made sure that my camera was zoomed out so you can see what it's like for someone to take up space on a live video. And so that's a bonus tip for you all. But I really wanted to stress that, like, I get that this does not come easy for most women and that confidence is something that we've been taught is not necessarily a trait. Like, I was also once told to like be more humble, right? And I've struggled with this a lot in the past because I do value humility and not being so like faced with all of the things I've achieved and all this and all that. And I think humbleness and confidence are often conflated, and that we have every right in our business to be confident AF, right, to show up and take the space that we need. There's this really good statistic that Sheryl Sandberg cites a lot, and she's the CFO, right, Chief Financial Officer of Facebook, streaming on their platform, might as well cite her, and wrote Lean In. She gives a great TED Talk if you haven't seen it. And anyhow, one of the statistics she brings up is that men apply for a job when they meet only 60% of the job criteria, whereas a woman will wait until they meet 100% of them. And this really illustrates the confidence gap between men and women, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of you in this group are like, oh, I'm not going to DM someone, or I'm not going to show up live every week. And maybe people don't want to know what I have to say, or whatever that confidence block might be. And it is a uniquely woman problem or female problem in a lot of ways. Some men also have confidence issues, but the statistics overwhelmingly show this, that women just don't have that self-belief that a lot of men have. And the other thing Sheryl says in I think it's a different speech of hers, is that we have this tendency of women to be nice. And I really want to deconstruct what being nice means, because I am the nicest person in the world. And I'm also a boss bitch, right? I get what I want, and I hold very firm boundaries around things because I know the value that my services and coaching provides, and the return on investment that all of you get that invest in one-on-one coaching or in one of my group programs. And so I'm very comfortable and confident stating what my prices are, because I know you're going to get it back, and I know you're going to make even more money after you work with me. And that might not be the nice thing to say, right? Oh, maybe I should give a discount. Maybe I should, just subtract a couple $100 from this so I can be nice. And so this is what Sheryl says. She says, just being nice is not a winning strategy. Nice sends a message that the woman is willing to sacrifice pay to be liked by others. This is why a woman needs to combine niceness with insistence, right? And she cites Mary Sol Coleman, that's the president of University of Michigan, who calls this niceness with insistence relentlessly pleasant. And of course, this is hard too, right? There's no part that's easy for us, but we can't just be nice, because then we're so worried about what other people are going to think about us. And that likability factor, which of course, this is something I've struggled with too. And that's why I want to share a couple strategies with you all and the rest of our time together about how I've overcome this wanting to be liked by everyone, or wanting to, shrink myself to make everyone else more comfortable, or whatever the case might be, because that is not a winning strategy. And we want to win in our businesses, right? One of my favorite songs, got me through grad school, is All I Do Is Win, 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 No Matter What, right? I love that song. It's so good. And I think that we need to adopt that mindset a lot more as women, and showing up confidently in our businesses. So let me give you guys a couple starting points for this. So a couple words of wisdom from Sheryl is, especially as you're building your confidence, remember two key communication aspects. The first one is always emphasize the larger joint goal. So when you're on a sales call with someone, or when you're doing a live like this, I'll use myself as an example. All of you watching and myself share this goal that public speaking gets to be fun and easy, and that we love doing it. And I know your mindset might not be there right now, but that's where it's going to get, because that's what our joint goal is, because we want to make more money and do more good in the world, right? And so emphasizing that larger joint goal, right? We want to change the world, for sure. Then our sub goal is we want to make public speaking fun and easy and enjoyable, so that we can do more of it to impact and inspire more people, right? The other second thing to do in this sort of thing is use we language, right? I just did a great example of it. We have this shared goal, right? we together are going to get you from whatever state you're currently in to whatever your transformation is, right? Like that's the trick to sales, is showing people what that transformation is, client journey transformation, whatever the case might be. So a couple ways to start to practice this. A couple of them are a little more on the spiritual woo-woo side, because you all know how much I love my spiritual woo-ness. And the first one comes from my spiritual teacher, Gabby Bernstein, which is the choose again method. Because here's the thing, if you're going to be confident, you have to feel really freaking good every day, right? Like if you're not feeling like your best self, if you're not feeling like you can take on the world, you're not going to be able to project that confidence no matter how much you try, right? And so she teaches something called the choose again method, where you really first start to cultivate awareness for how you're feeling. And if it's more, I have the scale of feelings on my wall because I'm such a firm believer in this, and it's all around raising your energetic vibration, right? So the negative emotions that sometimes we feel around public speaking might be like some anger, or maybe like just that fear is so overwhelming, or worry. Those are all very like low vibrations. Whereas fun, excited, joyful, those are all really high vibrations. And so you have to learn in the choose again method how you can choose your emotion again. Emotions are things we get to choose, which I'll save you the whole long rant. But if you don't believe me, type in hashtag feel I can't choose my feeling, or just type that and I'll send you all the things on choosing your feelings and like some different methods. But the choose again method is really first you cultivate that awareness. And like I said, Gabby has a whole book called Super Attractor. So Gabby Bernstein, Super Attractor, get it if you don't have it, where she talks about the choose again method. So step one, awareness. How are you feeling in this moment? So let's go with the example of, I hate public speaking. It's really terrible. I never want to do it. Right. And then you accept that that's how you're feeling. You're like, yeah, public speaking sucks. I don't want to do it. And that's okay. And and I'm ad-libbing off of what Gabby's method is, because this is what I do for myself, is I would say something along the lines of, like, let's get curious, Megan. Why do I hate public speaking so much, right? And that moment of curiosity, making that shift is what Gabby would call the miracle moment, right? Being able to say, wait, I accept this. I am being non-judgmental of myself and how I'm feeling in this moment. And I'm getting curious about what the root cause is, right? And I might say, yeah, and I'm going to look at my scale over here and I'll post it in the comments so you guys can see. You just choose 1 or 2 levels higher. So fear, the next higher level vibration emotion is guilt, and then anger, and then we can get to surprise, happiness, acceptance, right? And sometimes we have to move through all the emotions. We can't move from being fearful to accepting that public speaking can be scary and you can still do it, right? Like the fear is not going to kill you. And other times you want to like work down, right? So you might get curious and be like, why do I fear public speaking so much, right? And maybe you find out that there's this story from high school where you failed a presentation. And then it's like, yeah, I am still really angry that I couldn't present in high school better, right? And then really peeling back the layers to what that story is, so you can see that that's an old story, right? That's not your current story. And start to move yourself up these higher vibrational levels. So choose again method, highly recommend, because you can't speak your best if you don't feel fantastic, right? You have to cultivate joy in your life in order to inspire audiences and change the world with your speeches, which is what we all want to do. There's a couple affirmations that I tell myself to increase my confidence, to continue to feel confident AF, which is, I got this, right? Like, I'm competent. I know what I'm doing. Like, I have had a lot of life experience and I got it, right? So I got this, something I continually tell myself. Second thing is, I'm more than good enough, right? I know so many of us, myself included, struggle with this idea of worthiness and are we good enough? Are we worthy enough? Like, what does that even mean at the end of the day, though, right? Because you are good enough. The fact that you are in this body in this period of time means that you're good enough. And the more you can cultivate this feeling of, I am more than enough, I am good enough, the better and more confident speaker you're going to become because you're going to know what's like within, right? Like from that place of knowing that you're enough, and especially knowing you're enough for your audience, is where the magic happens. And I love it so much. Okay. And the third one, in my language, but sometimes I just have to remind myself that I'm a boss bitch. Like, I got this, right? I have a sign that says I'm a boss bitch. And I think it plays into what I was talking about at the beginning of like this feeling of having to be nice and having to be likable. And frankly, like my clients don't need me to be nice and likable all the time, right? All of you in here want to improve your public speaking. And sometimes that means I have to tell you something that might not be the nicest thing, that might be like, oh, actually, let's dial it back some and not talk about everything in the world, right? And that's why next week's challenge is all about unlocking your authentic message, the message that only you can deliver, that's your unique selling point in your business, because that's where you start to bring in clients, right? When you show up confidently as yourself, know what it is that you're here to speak about, is again where the magic happens. So if you haven't joined yet, make sure you sign up with the MailChimp link. I'll drop it in the comments when I get off of here, because it's going to really help you. And if you're watching this far in the future, this challenge is going to be saved. So you'll be able to find it back in the group. So go back to August 2020 and you'll see this challenge to help you unlock that authentic message, your core message. It's really the foundation of the whole speaking system that I teach. So very excited for it. So those are my affirmations. I got this. I am more than good enough. And I'm a boss bitch. I say those three throughout the day to myself and as reminders because they're so freaking important and really psych you up and like build that confidence. So I love it. A couple other concrete actions you can take is to talk with 5 strangers every day, right? Whether in person or online. If you struggle a lot with like getting out there with your message, really set that goal to talk to 5 people every day. So you can start with admiring something, admiring their work on Facebook. It could be a comment that you post in someone else's group or in this group. It could be reaching out in the direct messages to someone, any number of things. But set that challenge for yourself of talking to 5 people every day, and you'll find your confidence skyrocket. I love that one. And then get used to hearing no. Like that's the other thing, right? Is we get so scared of rejection and failure and someone telling us no. And the best way is to destigmatize it and hear no repeatedly, right? So there's some sales trainers out there that will tell you to go until you get to know. One of my favorite exercises to do back when I taught communication and conflict to undergraduate students was to have them try and negotiate things in their everyday life to make more money and to go until they got to know, right? And so you could try it with one of your friends or with a random store clerk. That's always a good one. Someone on Facebook. Like if you want to sharpen your negotiation skills, go to Facebook Marketplace and try to negotiate the price of like a lamp, right? From like, let's say $50 down to $5 and go until they tell you no, right? Because that's the thing is once you get less afraid and once you've heard that no, life gets so much easier, right? And then you're not as scared of it because it's happened before. And guess what? You were okay, right? Someone told you no and you didn't die. You didn't lose money. The only thing, like, this is what one of my favorite professors, Tony, used to tell me. And Tony Roberto, not Tony Robbins. Don't worry, guys. Is Tony used to say, don't tell yourself no. Always let someone else tell you no, right? And one of the things I practice in my business too is I think about like, what is going to make me feel the best about like taking on this client? Like, what price do I feel so in alignment with? And so, like, yeah, this is a fuck yes, right? And I only do things that feel that way because I know that for myself, like, and to keep my energy high, if I say yes to things that I'm not 100% committed to, I'm not going to feel great. And I'm not going to be able to jump on and do these lives and be all high vibe like I am. So it's why I really filter and use like my sense of intuition and knowing what my feelings and emotional state is and doing everything to protect that feeling of like joy and happiness, because the more you can cultivate feeling good as hell, this is where Lizzo comes in, the better you'll be able to show up in your business, the more confidence you're going to have, and the more you can show up live like I'm doing right now and attract your ideal clients and make all the money in your business that you want to make, because it's so cool to be able to do the things and give the things to the people that are most important for you. So all of that to say, I hope this was the pep talk that you needed today. I hope that you're feeling good as hell. Let me know in the comments. Do hashtag feeling good and let me know. And as always, let me know if you want to reach out, set up a free call with me. I always offer a 30-minute free speaking with soul strategy call as I have space available. And I absolutely love getting on and talking to everyone. And OMG, I almost forgot. We have over 200 people in our group now. Right? Like, what a celebration. I remember when I started with 5 people, and I am so excited about it. So thank you all for being here. And I'll be back actually tomorrow with Throat Chakra Thursday, where we'll be kicking off a 40-day challenge. So it's actually a beta test. But I'm really excited for it. And it's really going to help build your confidence more by opening your throat chakra and getting more in alignment with this vibrational energy. So if you liked what I was talking about today and want to go deeper, definitely tune in tomorrow for Throat Chakra Thursday. And I'll see you all then. Have a great rest of your day. Pirate.